Today we are going to make a line drawing using a Sharpie and a penny. So this is called a penny push technique. So this is my finished one. I'm going to set that aside. And what you're going to do is take your piece of paper, and I am going to put the penny here, and I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to push the penny with the marker. Where it goes, my marker will follow. So pennies will not go completely straight. So it'll start to go off and I just have to keep following. Ooh, it's turning. And I just keep following it wherever it goes all the way across my paper. And look at that. That's an awesome, cool line. Maybe for the second one, I start it here and I start pushing it. Got to go somewhat slow. If the penny goes completely off, let me see if I can do it. I'm going to do another one. Maybe I'll turn my paper this way. And I'm going to do another one right here. So if I start to go too fast, my penny, it went way off. I can put my marker down, put the penny back in front of it, and follow it where it's going to lead me. I really like doing this. So you want to add, right now I have 1, 2, 3 lines. And you want to try to make your lines go from one edge of the paper to the other. It could go from here to here. Let's try one of those. I'm going to do it right here. So from this edge, I'm going to try to get it to go over to that edge. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. I would want at least 5, but I could do 6 or 7 too. So have fun. My line drawing is done, and now I'm going to add some watercolor paints to this. Now, watercolor paints need a lot of water to work. So I'm going to decide which color, and we can try different techniques. So I could take and I'm going to do blue, and I could decide to paint this one in blue. And usually what I do is I touch the edge first. Notice the tip of my brush is being used. It's kind of like this is a ballerina. We want to use the tip for especially the edges. That way we don't get it crazy. Now, for this part, I can use the sides of the brush. And you notice I'm getting a little bit of paint on the table. That is okay. We will clean it at the end. We're not painting the table on purpose. We are painting it when we're doing our painting. And our goal is to get rid of all white spots. That color is a little dark, so I'm going to take just some plain water and add that in the inside to spread that color out. Any white spots? No, I think we did pretty good. I'm gonna cover those. Okay, now let's say I want to skip spots. I don't want to do these 3 yet because my paint could blend in together. But let's say I wanted to do red. So I'm going to put it in here, swish it around a few times. And this time I'm just going to do the edge. We're going to try something different. Try to get this maybe a little bit darker. Then when I'm done, I'm not going to dip it in the paint anymore. I'm just going to put water on my brush. And then I'm going to put plain water in here. And when I touch the edge, it'll blend in. So it'll be darker on the outside and get lighter on the inside. So that's another thing you can do. Now, another idea. I'm going to do that to this one because it's still wet. I'm going to take and I'm going to swish it in the green. Remember, one swish, not good enough. We need swish, 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 swish. And then I'm just going to take, again, the ballerina pointed foot and just touch. And the color will spread out. So we're just going to try some different techniques. Have fun. Hopefully you've had a chance to try some different techniques. I'm going to show you one more. This one is pretty fun. So let me see. I'm going to do orange, I think, this time. These are still a little wet. So I'm going to take orange, swish it around a few times, and I'm going to paint this area in orange. And then, do you see something on my table that wasn't there before? There's some salt on the table. Mrs. Engelbert was not eating and using salt. This is actually, we're going to use this with our paint. So I'm going to take and finish this off first. And we need the paint to still be wet when we do this. Now I'm going to put my brush in there. I'm going to take a little bit of salt in my hand. And I'm going to take and I'm going to sprinkle it on the orange. Doesn't take very much. I'm going to save this for another color. So I'm just going to set it over here to the side. And then what the paint is doing right now is being absorbed by the salt. And in a minute, we'll see what this does. I will come back in just a minute and show you. Okay, if you could look closely, you can see that the salt absorbed the color and it's making this cool design on there. So something you can try if you would like. One last thing I want to show you that it would be an option. So we've done several different things, but now you might notice this part of the tray. This is what I call the mixing area. So let's say I want to make like a teal color, a blue-green color. So I'm going to take some water and I'm going to put it in here, a couple different ones. I'm going to swish it around and I'm going to put some in this tray in the mixing area. Then I want to add some green to it. Should I go straight into the green? No, because I blew all over my brush. That would mess it up. So I'm going to wash it off here, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. Now, to save myself time, I'm going to put the green beside. I'm not going to have the green touching yet, because if I do, I keep having to wash my brush off. But if I put the green beside, I can put however much I want. And then when I get enough, I mix them together like this. And I'm going to add just a little water to that to water it down. And then I'm going to put it on one of my areas and we'll see. All of these areas are dry, so I can paint any of them. So let's say I want to paint this bottom one. So I can paint here and I can decide like, oh, if I think that's too much green, oh, I need to add just a little more blue. I can add more blue in here. And then I'm just going to paint this area. I probably added too much blue. And I can paint this and it just gets it a slightly different color. Now, one thing to watch out for though, if I mix too many colors together, it starts to get muddy. So let me see if I can do that. So let me finish this one off. And let's say I decide, oh, I don't want to add just two colors. And by the way, two colors close to each other blend really well. You can also do purple and red mixed really well together. But if you mix too many colors, not so much. So let's say I add orange to this now. So I'm going to take the orange. What color do you guys think it's going to turn out when I add orange to it? Let's see. So I add a little bit of orange. And then if I use this one and paint this one on, let's say over here. See how it's kind of a muddy color? Not one of my favorites, but it's okay. If you're trying to make a mud color, this is a great color to use. I mean, it'll work fine with all my other bright colors around, but that's what you can do too. You can mix some colors. Just make sure your whole paper doesn't turn out looking like just mud. One or two colors that are this color are fine, but not the whole paper. So have fun. I forgot one important thing on that before we start doing that. When we're done with this color, we do not want to close. Remember, always leave this open to dry, but you don't want to leave that there for the next person. So always take a paper towel and just clean up so that's nice and neat and ready for the next person. Now have fun.